Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this Chargers podcast. I am your host, Fernando Ramirez, joined as always by number 41 on the field, number 1 in your heart, Chargers fullback Lorenzo Neal. Lorenzo, how are we doing on this beautiful day?
You know, one word, baby, legendary. Ready to go. I feel pretty in the face and slim in the waist. Ready to rock and roll and talk about this upcoming season, because put the women and kids and boys and girls to bed, because the preseason is over, and I need you to give me your early Santa Claus wish list and tell me who's been naughty and who's been nice, and let me know what you think about this LA Superchargers, brother.
Before I do that, Lorenzo, I just got to let the folks know on the back end of this show, we will have a special guest, 2 special guests. We're going to be talking about Balance 7 with former NBA champion Lamar Odom and Dr. Nooristani. We're going to be talking to both of them about Balance 7, about fitness. I mean, you guys know Lorenzo's getting a little bit old. Don't tell him I said that, though. He's getting a little old. So we need some products out there to help him with that.
Hold on. Hey, before we start talking about these Chargers, I know you got a big guest coming. So why don't you tell the listeners who's coming on after we stop talking about X's and O's? Why don't you tell our listeners who's coming on and what are they going to bring to the table?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's all about Balance 7. It's about this new product that's out there to help to everybody, but like obviously former athletes like Lamar Odom, like Lorenzo Neal, help them be able to work out, do different things, be able to. I mean, I've heard from Lowe say a couple of times that it's helped him on that bench press. He's going harder. He's getting leaner and meaner. So it definitely has helped him out. But definitely excited for that. Now, Lorenzo, we got to before we get started with this, I got to ask you, man, before the season starts, where can is there anywhere I can go to make some money? I need to make some money before the season starts.
I love it. Money. I love it. And you know what? There's a place that I go called Bet Online. If you want to make some money, go to Bet Online and tell them the big fella sent you. That's right. Low Neal and my man Fernando, tell them we sent you there to Bet Online. They got a gambling tip. You want to make some money? You want to get a little money? Why don't you go to Bet Online? It's simple. Throw your credit card down. They'll give you a little extra. You go out there and you put a little parlay together, and all you do is think about, how do I win? So I love Bet Online. It's easy and simple. What say you, Fernando?
It's BetOnline is your number 1 spot for all pro and college football action this season. College football is getting started this week, and NFL's next season. Get all the odds, props, and contests, including online's biggest $500,000 NFL mega contest. The world's largest $200,000 NFL supervisor contest is now open at BetOnline. If you head there right now to the website, or you use your mobile device to sign up today, you receive 100% welcome bonus. Don't we like welcome bonuses, Lorenzo?
Absolutely, man. 100% welcome bonus. Yes, if it's free, it's for me. Bet Online want to keep you hooked. They want to keep you engaged. So go to Bet Online, man. It's simple.
Yeah, no, definitely. And obviously, like, we're talking about Balance 7. So I don't know if you've heard, but apparently former player Lamar Odom may be returning to professional basketball in Spain soon. He's taken a new product that we've been talking about, and that's what we're going to get into also, is Balance 7. It's a pH balancing alike supplement drink. Obviously, Lorenzo, you're a former athlete. How much does this benefit you having that product, and how has it helped you?
Well, Balance 7 is when your body is a balance of, that's why I call it Balance 7, because they want to balance a pH. So when your body when your body is not acidic, when it is too acidic and too much in pH, what happens? You can get different diseases and different things can grow. So that's why Balance 7 is there. It's something that's going to balance your body and keep you in a good place. And because our body, we know, is what 80% is water, mostly water. So Balance 7, it really does a great job of balancing you. So it helps you with your endurance, helps you with the clarity. So check out Balance 7, great product, and can't wait to have the wonderful doctor on today, and he's going to talk about it. So looking forward to this great conversation.
100%, Lorenzo. All right, it's time for football talk. So, so obviously, what is interesting to me about this, the 3 things to watch, I'm going to give them to you real quick. and it's one of them we've talked about two of them we talked about numerous times, Lorenzo. Offensive line, special teams, and the defensive structure. What do I mean by defensive structure? I've talked about it numerous times. Derwin James has said it. Chris Harris Jr. has said it. They're going to be positionless players this season. Why? Because they want to keep the opposing quarterback guessing. They want to keep Ryan Fitzmagic guessing when they play them next Sunday. What does that mean? That means that Derwin at one point could be playing free safety, strong safety. He could be in the slot. He could be at linebacker. He could be at pass rusher. He literally is going to be all over the field. Chris Harris Jr. is going to be either a slot corner, outside corner, or a safety. So there's going to be a lot of moving parts with this defense to really try and throw the quarterback off. Special teams, Lorenzo, you talked about it. You said they have to be top 15 if they want to make the playoffs. Well, special teams coordinator Darius Swinton has had them every single day about 3 times, either training camp or in regular practice, going through special teams, kicking, punting, punt coverage, kickoff return, everything, Lorenzo. They've been doing everything to make sure that they're a better defense or a better special teams. They even brought in a new corner or a new safety from the Denver Broncos, Trey Marshall. He was in Denver with defensive coordinator Ronaldo Hill. Brandon Staley was out there as an outside linebackers coach 2 years ago. So they each know Marshall. They say that he brings an impact he'll bring an impact to special teams. They're really excited about him. So they're just keep on building on that special teams. Offensive line, Lorenzo, we've talked about it. Rashawn Slater, Ode Abuje, Corey Linsley. They've brought in so many players. Now, can it hold up? Will they be able to give Justin Herbert that time? The one question I have, Lorenzo, is Brian Bulaga, right tackle. He's been going through some injury. He has an injury history. He's been in and out this year. The Chargers have tried to rest him as much as they can. He was back to practice on Thursday, but can his body hold up? That is going to be another question that we're going to have. But it's definitely it's getting interesting, Lorenzo. We're literally on the horizon of the NFL season.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And when you're looking at this team, and let's stay there when you're talking about the offense and talking about, hey, but you know what? You look at Justin Herbert, didn't play any preseason games. What have you seen and what gives you hope that he's going to come in, not playing any preseason, not necessarily know the timing? I know you practice and they did some one-on-ones and all those different things, but it's different than the game, the play clock and all those things. What has the coach and the staff showed you that he's going to be ready, especially for the regular season?
So last year, as a rookie, he didn't have training camp. He didn't practice with the ones at all during training camp. It kind of was a feel out process. Like when he came in, his timing was a little bit off with Mike Williams and with Keenan Allen and with Hunter Henry. But when you put in the backups in there, like at times Donald Parham would go in there, or Jalen Guyton or Tyron Johnson, when he was with those guys, that's when he really had chemistry with them. It took him time. It took him time to build chemistry with Keenan and with Mike. I feel like that chemistry is now down to basically they know each other. They know what they're going to wear that same day, just because they've been practicing together this whole off season. They've been working together. They got in before mini camp and all that stuff. They got in before and they worked out together. They were working out there at Jack Hammett. So it feels like the players really feel like they're in a special groove right now. They're getting ready for the season. I Bleav that it's not gonna drop off. Like there's gonna be no drop off. I feel like Keenan, Jared Cook, and Mike have all gotten their system down. Maybe with Mike it'll be a little bit different, Lorenzo, because he didn't practice in the back end of training camp. He was dealing with a groin injury, and so maybe that'll be a little bit what hampers them a little bit. But other than that, him and Keenan have really got it down. Jared Cook has emerged also. I know he's a veteran, but he's really gotten it down with Justin so far. So
Right.
I feel like I feel like Justin's gonna come out ready to fire, and he'll put the team on his back.
And when you're saying that, put the team on his back, what type of a leader when you're getting in Justin Herbert? Tell the listeners out there. Of course, this is just year number 2 where he's actually going to be starting. Last year didn't have a chance to get nervous, didn't have a chance to do. Yeah. They threw him to the fire. He knew this found out right before kickoff, and there you're off and running. So what now? Is this guy? Does he have command? Does the team follow him? Is this his team? Is it Joey Bosa's team? Whose team, when you look at this dramatically, whose team is it? Is it a group of guys? What drives this team? What if this team is going to be great? Who are some of those glue pieces, in your opinion, that's going to be driving the ship?
Well, on the defense, it has to be Derwin James. I mean, Derwin's coming back from from those two injuries that kind of slowed him down those last 2 years. He's coming back. Obviously, he's a leader on this defense. You should see him, Lorenzo. You'd love to watch him. He's over there coaching his teammates. If somebody makes a mistake, he pulls them off to the side and he's like, "Look, bro, you got to do this. You got to move this way. You got to go out this way. You got to tackle like this." He really is step up as a leader. The other day, Jim Trotter, from NFL Network, he was a San Diego Union Tribune writer. When you were playing, Lorenzo, he wrote that a lot of the staff that's been with the Chargers for numerous years, I'm talking about way back in the 90s, that they all believe that Derwin is the first full leader of a team the way Junior Seau was. And that's saying a lot because we all know Junior Seau was the leader of the Chargers back in when he was playing. So for them to say that about Derwin, that's big time. And then obviously on the offensive side, Justin Herbert yesterday was voted as a captain for this team. So he's going to be a captain. He really, I mean, people say that he's quiet, he's reserved, he's whatever. He's not like that on the field. He takes command of that offense. He takes command of the receivers, of the offensive line, of the running backs. So you really can tell he is the leader out there. He is the guy. Everyone talks about whatever 10's doing. Whatever 10's doing. If 10 leads us, we're behind him. So you could definitely tell that the players are behind him. When you look at a guy like Joey Bosa is a quiet leader, Lorenzo. What do I mean by that? He literally grabs guys and he's like, "Hey, okay, so the way you pass rush is blah, 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 blah. This is how you do it. This is the way I would do it. Dig your hips, thrust your hips when you move this way, swipe their hands." He literally helps guys out no matter what. So he's another leader. And then obviously on the offense, back to the offensive side, center Corey Linsley. He's new, but he's an all-pro center. Brandon Staley said this week that he wanted Corey Linsley on this team. Why? Because he dominated his LA Rams in the playoff game in the divisional round. He said he dominated us. That's literally what he said. He's like, "I wanted that on my team. I wanted that leadership on my team. That was the first free agent that I told Tom Telesco, that's who I need." So those are the four guys that I think the Chargers are going to be really looking at when it comes to, hey, we're down in the fourth quarter by 10 points. Who are we going to look to? I think those are the guys that they're going to look to.
And when you say that, because the center and the quarterback, they have a lot of responsibility. The center wants to make sure he gets the points, and he's making sure he's, getting guys lined up and showing who's the mic in the center. He's directing that offensive line. So when you're talking about a guy that you went out and you heard coach say, "Hey, I want this guy. I need this type of individual that's going to make my offense and make my team go." What have you seen thus far out of him at practice? What have you seen? Have you seen the athletic ability? Is he a road grader? What type of set? Is he a better pass blocker? When you watch the center that they spent a lot of money for, what have you seen out of him that makes him a different? And what have you seen far as the relationship with the other guys on the squad?
So obviously the number one relationship that he has to have is the quarterback. And when I heard Corey speak this week, he said that his relationship with Justin has really grown from the first time that they started to now. So what Corey Linsley does well, Lorenzo, he uses one hand sometimes to control the defensive lineman. It's incredible. He controls them with one hand, and then he uses the other hand to help the guard, whichever side it is. He tries to help him out, and he tries to help him out with one hand. So he's literally using two hands to handle two guys. So that's really been something that you rarely see from a center. And he really is a top-notch center. He calls out the defense and everything. So he really has been a big part of this offense. And he really has stepped up as a leader. He tries to command the offense and kind of tell the offensive line, "Hey, this is what we need to do." He checks out of things. He does different things. So he really has been a benefit. And I think it's going to help Justin out in the long term, just because having a center like that helps you. I mean, you were a part of the team when they had Nick Hardwick. It helps when you have a center like that. So definitely, and obviously, having a guy like Corey Linsley is going to help a second-year quarterback like Justin keep on going up in his ascension.
What type of another question for you? Because this is just great because I want to kind of get the listeners dialed up for what's getting ready to happen next week when opening kickoff, when you're playing against, a team that got a veteran cagey quarterback who's been around and played for Fitzmagic for many, many years, who if he's in a game, this guy can light it up. Is this team built for high scoring? Is that going to be a high scoring offense? What are you comfortable with the running game? You look at San Francisco 49ers and what they are. They are a team that's going to run the ball and play action. They're a physical team. What say you about this Charger team? Is this a finesse team, physical team? How would you describe this team to the listeners?
I'm glad you mentioned the San Francisco 49ers, but before we jump into that, Lorenzo, I got exciting news. Our pod is partnering with PlayActionPools.com this season to bring some interactive fun to the sport that we love the most. You'll be able to get the action with our with PlayActionPools.com Football Challenge Pick'em, which is open to everybody. So you basically sign up for the contest, Bleav Football Pick'em at PlayActionPools.com, and then you get your picks in for each week. We're going to select the 10 highest profile games of the week between the NFL and college football, and whatever you pick, the winner gets electric sunglasses and a pair of DC shoes. Lorenzo, what says you? Are you getting excited for PlayActionPools.com?
PlayActionPools.com. Why wouldn't I? I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Who wouldn't want some free pair of shades, glasses, all the different things they're giving away? Man, why not? So love it. And it keeps you a part of the game, keeps you interested, keep you locked in. So I just love it, man. I love the sponsors that we have. We have some amazing sponsors, and they are offering a tremendous amount of items to give away as well as you can earn.
100%. Again, go to playactionpools.com and sign up for the contest Bleav, BLEAV Football Pick'em. Man, with your football knowledge, Lorenzo, I feel like you could get a pair of sunglasses and some DC shoes every single week.
I'm going to be on it, baby. I want those DC shoes and I want those sunglasses. So sign me up. I'm in, Fernando.
So, Lorenzo, going back to what you were asking me, the thing is that the way this was told to us and the way I've gotten explained to me is they're going to be taking a little bit of the run game from what San Francisco's done. Now, what San Francisco does really well is they mix in their running backs and they use them at certain times. So that's what the Chargers, I think, are going to do. They're going to use Austin Eckler in certain situations. They're going to use Justin Jackson in certain situations. They're going to use Larry Roundtree, Joshua Kelly. They're going to use these guys in different situations, and I feel like they're going to try and mix the backs in left and right to really get themselves going. And I feel like they're taking a page out of San Francisco's book. San Francisco in the last few years, that's how they got going. That's how they made it to the Super Bowl. The mixing and matching of their running backs, the way Mozart came on at the end of the season that year, at the end of the season that year. I mean, it's just things that are going to help the team out, and I truly believe that the Chargers are trying to use something similar to that, especially with the unique backs that they have. I feel like that's kind of what they're going to do, and that's going to be kind of not their identity, but I feel like that's really going to help them out in the long game, is being able to get to mix and match these running backs. At times, I've seen them use one running back in the backfield with Justin, the other one at receiver, and they kind of move into motion. So that'll be definitely things that'll help out. So it's going to be unique, Lorenzo, what we see this season from the run game.
Yeah, it will be, and that's why I was kind of asking, because if you look at this team and watch the Chargers and the way in which they operate, at times, you think, okay, you look at San Francisco. The biggest difference is you guys have a guy, they have a guy in Justin Herbert that can throw the ball down the field, that can do it all, and showing that he can play at a very, very high level. One of the young, great quarterbacks. When you look at Mahomes and all these guys are young and they're great right now. Are they going to be elite? We don't know yet, but I can tell you this. You look at Jimmy G, and the biggest difference is when you think about San Francisco and Jimmy G and what he brings to the table, he's not that guy yet. He's a good quarterback. He doesn't mean a great quarterback. So the Niners, they know they have to lean on the run. The biggest question that I'm having for you for now, and the reason why I'm saying that is because, is this team and this new coach, is he patient enough to believe in the run? Is he going to stay with it because of the fact he has a big arm quarterback, a guy that can do so many different things? Or is this team going to be patient enough and diligent enough to run the ball with the consistency that it takes to establish? Or is it going to be like, hey, look, we got a guy that can sling it. We're like Kansas City. We got a quarterback that can throw with the best of them. This is who we're going to be.
No, I think the Chargers really want to be balanced. They don't want to depend on Herbert, which I mean, Herbert can light it up with the best of them, but I think they really want to be balanced. They want to be able to mix the run in with the pass. They want to be able to run the football because, I mean, there's going to be times, Lorenzo, at the end of games that maybe the Chargers have a 14-point lead, and what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to bleed that clock. What's the best way to bleed that clock? You run the football, and you run it consistently. The Chargers feel like they have the offensive line to really be able to run the football and run it behind Corey Linsley, run it behind Rashawn Slater. So it definitely is going to be interesting the way to see how they run this football. The way Brandon Staley's been telling us, they're going to be patient. They're going to be patient with the offensive line. They're going to be patient with the run game. But things can change, Lorenzo. I mean, things could really change. Maybe they're not running the ball well and they decide to start slinging it. But I truly think that the Chargers need to be patient with it. I think they need to really depend on the run. I think Austin Eckler is going to have a big year. He keeps on telling everybody, Lorenzo, he's like, draft me in fantasy football. Take me in the first round. I swear I'm going to get touches this year. He seems very excited. He seems very confident about how good he's going to be this year. So it's definitely going to be, I think the Chargers really do need to they are going to need to be patient with it. They're going to need to run the football because you just never know how games are going to go. So I just think they need to stay balanced. I'd expect probably a 51-49, 51 passing, 49 running. That's honestly my best bet, just because Joe Lombardi comes from the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans ran the ball a lot. So I think that's what they're really I think they're going to try and be balanced. I think they're going to try and run the football as well.
Sure, and I think that's great to hear, especially from someone as close as you are to the team. Do you look at this team and you look at the running backs? Of course, Eckler, what he brings to the table. Kelly's more of a 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Do they have enough? What do you think about this running game or the running backs? Is it by committee? And if it is by committee, besides Eckler, who's showing you that they can? Who's showing you that they can really carry the load? Do you think there is a guy that you look and say, look, if Eckler went down for the period of time, do they have enough in the stable in order to keep winning?
So I'm a little bit of the old school mentality, Lorenzo. I feel like you always need a big running back, in a good big running back. Like when Melvin Gordon was here, it was perfect with him and Austin Eckler, the combination. I feel like the Chargers are still missing that in a sense. I mean, I guess some teams feel like they don't need it anymore, but I feel like the Chargers still, or a team would still need that just for the last quarter of the game when you're trying to bleed out the clock. You need a big back. I think they still kind of miss that in a sense, but obviously we're not going to know how this offense is going to be until they play Washington. But I do think that it's going to be a running back by committee behind Austin Eckler. I think Larry Roundtree has really emerged during training camp. I think he's emerged during preseason games. He's a bigger kind of back. He's thicker. Not as big as like Melvin Gordon or whatever, but he's still a little bit thicker. I think he's going to be their short yardage running back, the 3rd and 3s, the 3rd and 2s, and they want to surprise the opposing defense and run the football. I think it's going to be him. I think he's going to be the one that runs it. Joshua Kelly, he had his hiccups last year, but he seems like he's really learned from everything. So I expect him to try and take that next step and help this offense. Justin Jackson's a guy that I feel like he's a good pass catching running back, and I feel like they're going to try and use him similar to that Alvin Kamara role, like in against the Rams. We saw him do a halfback angle where he came out of the backfield. He did kind of a slant route, and he was able to catch the football. I think he got hurt on that play, but he gained about 10 yards. So I feel like they're going to use him more in pass catching situations. So I think the running backs do. I feel like they each do something differently, except for Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler is the perfect package, but the guys behind him, I feel like they each do stuff differently. So that's how they're going to use them. They're going to mix and match them. Whoever has the hot hand, they're going to ride that hot hand. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a mixture between all of them.
Oh yeah, no, well, great, because I know next week we're gonna, the next episode we're really gonna focus on the defense, really, really get in integral like we're doing with the offense and of course special teams. But that's why I'm just here. And so, we kind of touched on the line. We're touched right now. You really did a great job of kind of going to find the running backs. Let's talk about the receivers and what are they? Are they an elite group? Is this a group of receivers? Do you think they have enough? Who's going to be the go-to guy? But do you think you have enough with receivers and tight end to make a serious push?
I think the Chargers do, just because they have three solid receivers in Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Josh Palmer. Josh Palmer's emerged, Lorenzo, during this training camp.
Yes.
He literally has taken it a step up. When he first showed up, he had some I mean, he had to work through some things, but now he's really caught up. You could tell he's the third receiver out on that field. The Chargers really love him. Justin Herbert loves him. Everybody really has taken to him. Keenan Allen said the other day, Josh Palmer is at a better place than I was at that moment when I was going into my first season. He's a better receiver than I was at that time. I was just good at playing receiver, but I wasn't a good receiver. He's like, Josh Palmer's a good receiver.
Wow.
So for somebody like Keenan Allen to say that is incredible. I mean, when he was at Tennessee, Josh Palmer, he didn't have good quarterback play. A lot of people thought that he could have been a first-round talent, and now the Chargers kind of stole him in the third round. So it's going to be interesting to see the way he plays and he meshes with this offense. But I think those three guys are going to be good. Keenan Allen, obviously, we all know what he can do. Mike Williams, like I told you before, Joe Lombardi said he wants Mike Williams to have a bigger role in this offense. He wants him to be the Michael Thomas. The Michael Thomas role is 100 catches for over 1,000 yards and probably about 8 touchdowns. So can Mike Williams be that guy? Can his body hold up the whole season? That's a huge question mark that everybody needs to keep an eye on. But according to the team, they're really supportive of it. They feel like he can really take that next step forward. And it's a contract year, Lorenzo. You know how players play in a contract year. And then lastly, Jared Cook he's really emerged as a guy that Justin Herbert looks at. He's been dependable. Wonder. I know. He's 34 years old, and he still looks like he's playing like he's only 24.
So how do you look at him? And that's what I know. We're talking a little bit of receivers, but now we're getting a little bit more to the tight ends. So you're looking at a guy who's 34, not necessarily a great run blocker. How are they going to implement him? Because of the fact, when he's on the field, what's going to be probably pass. Are they going to run away from his side? Are you going to run to him? Is he good enough to do that? Where are they at when you talk about just tight end for what you expect from tight ends? And you don't have to just use him, but just the committee of tight ends. How do they stack up?
So they drafted a tight end in the third round, Trey McKitty. He's more of a Virgil Green kind of blocking tight end, maybe catch you at one pass every other game. I think they're going to use him a lot in the run game to help block, kind of use Jared Cook the way they were using Antonio Gates at the end. Hopefully he can double team somebody and help out. But I don't think they're going to ask him to solo block. Just because he's up there in age, you want to conserve him. I think, Lorenzo, he's going to be him and Donald Parham. Donald Parham's that tight end you love. 6'8", Lorenzo. Do you think anybody can catch anything in his vicinity up when you put it up in the sky? I don't think so. So between them, I've been telling people, fantasy owners, everything. I think they're going to catch about 15 touchdowns combined, both of those two guys. I think Justin's going to look their way in the end zone a lot. And I feel like because of all the other weapons that there are around the field, the tight ends are going to come open and they're going to be a huge part of this offense. And I really do think that Donald Parham and Jared Cook are going to catch a lot of touchdown passes this season.
Wow, I love it. So before we get out of here, let's go through now, and now let's put the grades. Let's put a grade. Let's start with hey diddle diddle. Let's talk with that offensive line. Paul Revere wouldn't have been able to tell him that the British was coming and say, one if I land, two if I see. On the opposite shore would be ready to ride if the British would come by land or by sea. So hang a lantern on the Belfry Arch. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those horses, the one that delivered, be able to take Paul Revere to be able to deliver the message. You need the horses. So tell me about that offensive line. Just give me a grade. I know we talked a little bit about it, but what grade do you give the offensive line? What do you think? Is it a B offensive line? Is it an A offensive line? C offensive line? Just give me your grade. This is preseason.
Yeah.
I mean, this is prior to the season, and then we'll do it again mid-season, of course, at the end of the season.
I give him a B, Lorenzo, just because I don't know what you're getting with Brian Bulaga. He was hurt almost all of last season. This season, he's practiced here and there, but then there's times where he's gotten hurt. Is he going to be able to hold up? Because in my opinion, Lorenzo, when it comes to the backup the backup right tackle Storm Norton and Trey Pipkins, I haven't seen it from them, Lorenzo, and I feel like if they put either one in there, it's going to be it's going to be a downgrade of what Brian Bulaga is. So that definitely Brian Bulaga's body's going to need to hold up. But for right now, I give it a B. I love the Rashawn Slater pick. You have to love the All-Pro signing of Corey Linsley, but I'd have to keep it at a B right now just because of B for Brian Bulaga. So if Brian
Yeah, I
Bulaga
like
can
it.
stay healthy, that grade should improve, but it's a big if.
I love the way that you use Brian to give Brian for the B. So that's great. Let's go to the running back position. And then we went over it. Now, what grade are you giving him starting out at Hope?
I'm gonna give him a B minus. I like Austin Eckler. I think Austin Eckler is great, but like I said, I that big back. I think you need a grinder, somebody to really muscle the opposing team down, and I feel like they don't have that. So I would have to give him a B minus. Justin Jackson gets injured a lot. Josh Kelly's coming off a rough season. Can those guys step up? Can they be guys that the team can count on, or are they going to revert to what they've known? Justin Jackson keeps on getting injured. Joshua Kelly maybe puts the ball on the ground again. We don't know that. So as of right now, and Larry Roundtree's a rookie. So behind Austin Eckler, I don't know. The Chargers don't know what they have. So we don't know what the Chargers have behind Austin Eckler until the games are played. So for right now, I'm gonna have to give it a B minus.
I like it. I like it. I like where you're going. And let's finish up here. Let's talk about just the tight ends. What grade are you? Where are you giving them?
I'll give him a minus. I think Jared Cook is going to be solid. I think Donald Parham has ascended. He's taken a bigger step this year. Justin Herbert last year was kind of putting it at his chest, and that's when guys were ripping it apart and they were getting it out of his hands. This year, he's putting it more up in the sky so that excuse me, Donald Parham can reach up there and grab the football where nobody else can go up because he's 6'8". Like I said, I think he has a 7'3" wingspan. So there's nobody in the NFL that's going to be able to get up there. So ball placement is going to be key. But I feel like those two guys are going to be big time for the Chargers this year. So I give them an A minus.
Okay, so let's wrap. Let's go to the next position, and that's
Okay.
wide receivers. Where would you think that? What grade are you giving them?
I'll give him a B plus just because you need Palmer to develop. You need a guy like Jalen Guyton to hold on to the football. Lorenzo, he was dropping stuff the other day in practice, and they decided to keep him instead of Tyron Johnson. Tyron Johnson didn't drop the ball that many times. Jalen Guyton has a history of dropping the football, and the Chargers can't have that. The Chargers need discipline this year. They need guys that are gonna hold on to the football. Keenan Allen's an A. Keenan Allen is an A. Mike Williams is a question mark. Can he stay healthy the whole season? Can he produce the way these guys are asking him to produce? Josh Palmer is a rookie. He's looked good in training camp. He's looked good in preseason. But can you be that guy, that third receiver that this team desperately needs? That's going to be something that you're going to have to keep an eye on. But definitely there are some questions in the receiving group as well.
Okay, last but not least, let's go with the quarterback position.
I mean, this is the only A plus I'm going to probably give out, but when you have Justin Herbert, I mean, you basically have hope. You have everything you need. So I'm going to go Justin Herbert A. And Lorenzo, that leads us into our next segment. I know you're excited about this, Lorenzo, talking about that balance 7.
Absolutely, balance 7. It works for me. This was an amazing show today. I love your insight on this Charger team and what to expect. And I think all the boys on the Chargers should think about that balance 7. You want to talk about clarity, being able to go out there and perform at a high level. You want to make sure you got a clear head. You want to make sure that your body's in balance. And that's what balance 7 does. It puts your body in a balanced state when you're getting the gym, gives you the energy, gives you what you need in order to push at a very, very high performance level.
So I am joined now by a group of basically Hall of Famers. Dr. Nooristani is here to talk about a product. We have 2-time NBA champion, 6th man of the year, former LA Laker Lamar Odom, and we got, you guys know, number 41 on the field, number 1 in your heart, Lorenzo Neal. Doctor, let me start with you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you feeling?
I'm good. Lorenzo, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling
great.
legendary.
I can't complain. I'm in Pismo Beach, beautiful weather, amazing scene, so I can't complain.
Love it. Lamar, how are we feeling today?
It's a good day to be alive, considering the alternative.
There you go.
Question. No question. Well,
I
Doc,
love that.
Well, let me jump in. Hey, Doc, so tell us about balance 7. Tell us about, what do you think the overall view, what you're looking for when people are trying to look for that healthy nutrition, the value. Tell us about balance 7, how it applies to people's diet and to their everyday living.
Yo, you know what? I don't want to stop you from answering that question.
Yeah.
Mr. Neal, but I didn't even know, excuse me for being ignorant, but I didn't even know like men had like pH balance. I thought it was like a woman thing, for real. So, you know what I'm saying? So,
I know.
for real.
I totally no. I know you like, man, what's pH? No, what's pH and all that stuff? No, I thought about a pH because I had a swimming pool. So, you know, the pH, you get the pH in the water, making sure how much pH is in the water. But no, that's why we got the doctor and you guys can give us some of that knowledge, brother.
Yeah, you're right. So, Doc, you go ahead and answer the question, Doc. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, you good, bro.
Well, I think so. You guys are absolutely right. A lot of people don't know about, pH. We don't hear about it. It's not discussed, even in the realm of, medical. We just deal with it within the hospital. If you're getting really sick, you're admitted to ICU. So we really don't discuss that, especially outside the hospital. So yes, a lot of people don't know about it, and that becomes an issue because now there's a lot of disease that are linked to the acidic environment in your body. And the way you define acidity is by a scale called pH, power of hydrogen, just a measurement tool, just like you measuring your how how high the building is, or how long the road is, etc. It's a measurement tool, but it gives us so much information about our body, what's going on inside our body. Everything is related to pH. Imagine your whole being is controlled with pH. Now you think about it, how important that becomes, right? Because you're functioning because of your pH. When you get up in the morning, you're tired, it relates to your pH. You're sick, it relates to your pH. So anything and everything to do with you, from the time you wake up till the time you sleep, from the time you were born till you die, it's related to that pH. It's how important that is.
Wow.
So obviously, Doctor, when it comes to two former athletes like Lorenzo and Lamar, how does that help them? The Balance 7?
So, you're talking about different population and how the Balance 7 will impact them, right? An elite athlete like Lamar and Lorenzo, their body gets a beating. There's no question about it compared to any other athlete. When you go to elite level, when you're the top of the top of the top, your body endures a lot of impact, and especially football and basketball, right? There's tons of injuries, there's tons of impact. So the more you practice, the more you're on the field, the more you're doing it, your aggressive exercise, the more your joints start gonna hurt, right? The more your body is gonna break down, the more the muscle is gonna be affected. So having a proper pH will definitely help you to overcome some of those limitations and allow your body to move better. Now, when we are younger, obviously the impact, we don't feel it as much because the body's recovery mechanism is a lot better. But as we age, especially when you go to retirement phase, now all those little injuries throughout the years has add up. And you wake up in the morning, it feels like a truck hit you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it takes your body to get out. I think, I don't know, I'm not an athlete, but I'm pretty sure Lorenzo and Lamar, you guys could speak about that and how your body feels when you get up every day.
I guess it really changes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It differentiates.
Lamar, with you doing the whole boxing thing, did Balance 7 help you with the helping with recovery and you training through boxing, and then obviously having that boxing fight?
Yeah, I think it helped me with when I was training for the fight.
Mm-hmm.
It helped me, recover and give me that little oomph I needed to work out.
Yeah.
And with me is really important for me to be balanced mentally and physically, because I make better decisions.
Sure. And have you seen that, Lamar, when you're talking about just like mentally, physically? Talk about a little bit the physical and the mental aspect of what Balance 7 did you feel that it does for you?
Well, it makes me a lot clearer. and it doesn't cause any drastic decisions that I make as far as lifestyle is concerned, because I have a clear head, so I don't really make spontaneous decisions which could be harmful to me and my body.
No question.
Lorenzo, how has it helped you?
Yeah, with me, man, I just try to do it, every day when I go for the gym, like about 6, 7 in the morning, and try to make sure I get a couple, teaspoons, put it in my water, and just try to balance, man. So I just see that, like his doctor was saying, just like your joints feel more like they're more lubricated, not as stiff. Still feels some stiffness, but it just, I think over time, I've been on it now for a month. I'm starting to make more gains and stuff in the gym. Starting to lift a little bit, go even heavier. Doc, let's talk a little bit about that. What about with kids? Can you overdo it on Balance 7? So talk about the younger kids. A lot of kids, they work out, they're dehydrated, they're taking, different types of drinks that have corn fructose served, the different Gatorades, and people don't understand, well, is this a greater, better alternative? And how much can you take? Is it too much? Can be detrimental? Tell us about that, Doc.
Yeah, so Balance 7, just good, the great point that you brought out. So this is not one of your drink that you're going to take a bottle of it and chug it down. Okay. This is an extremely highly concentrated solution, which is probably almost 1,500 times stronger than your regular drinking water. So it's designed for you to take only 1 ounce 3 times a day. Just 1 ounce, no more than that. Now, once in a while, you want to do an extra shot in between, and that's fine. But you're not, supposed to take it, not mix it with water or anything else, because of that concentration that once it hits your body, and that is where the change comes in. So, we recommend 3 times, but if you take 4 or 5 times, that's fine. It's not going to have an impact, but I don't want you to jug down the whole bottle because of this pH. It will definitely change your blood pH, and that could be dangerous, right? Because body is functioning in a very narrow range of pH. So if it goes too low or it goes too high, you mix it with your water, and that's something that gonna see some effect despite that, but you're not gonna get the full effect. I just want you to take it 1 shot 3 times a day on empty stomach. Just drink it.
Okay.
Because you're mixing it with water, you're diluting it, and then defeat the purpose of the high pH. But it's still, you're gonna see, because it's so concentrated, even if when you put it in the water, it changes the pH of water significantly. But please, just to your audience and everybody's listening, 3 times a day.
Okay, Doc, I have another question to follow up for you, because I have one of those Kangen machines that, iodine the water, so it goes through and it filters. So I have a Kangen machine, so it gets, so cleans the water, and then also so it makes the pH, and it does that already. So that's the kind of water that I was putting in it. What say you to that? Still the same?
No, absolutely. It's a completely different ballgame. So those ionized water use electricity literally to separate the hydrogen ion from the hydroxide part of the water. So basically it takes the alkaline part of it. As soon as it pours down on your glass, if you leave that glass on your table, that pH starts shifting back to normal.
Yes.
So it's not really a true alkaline water, right? It's just a temporary solution and goes back, because the hydrogen ion from the air will dilute that back to normal, right? Bring it back. So for that kind of product, you have to drink a lot of it, and it's not going to have that much impact because it changes so fast. Now, Balance 7, you can leave it open. Just put the bottle. For 15 years, we have tested it. The pH does not change.
Oh wow! Even if you leave it open,
because it's a chemically it's in the ingredients are mixed differently, right? So it's not a temporary solution. So a lot of people think about those ionized water, which is run through electricity literally, and the separation comes. So it's not a chemical process. So it's temporarily. We have seen some benefit from it. I just can't just say there no benefit, because the benefit comes from hydration. You have to drink a few bottles of that and keeping hydrated. And you guys both of you guys know how important it is to stay hydrated, right? So I mean, so that ionized machines are just, another fashion that, has, perked up over the last 10 years or so, and it's progressively, more people are buying that stuff, but, the effect is very limited.
So right now
Thank you.
we have a special offer, 32-ounce option. It's usually priced at $29.99, but with the code Bleav, you will receive it for $19.99. This offer is valid for 2 weeks. Look at Lorenzo putting it up there. He knows.
Absolutely. I have mine. I told you, Doc, I keep mine in the car. I keep it with me everywhere I go. I have another question, Doc, for you, because I'm really serious about this, especially about health and also helping youth. I have a daughter. She suffers from Darvettes. She has a seizure disorder. So they talk about the balance. So how would talk about what Balance 7 could do? If I don't know if you heard of Darvettes. And so we did get the water, and that's why we have the Kangen water. That's why, because they talk about that. But just want to know if this is a safe product for 17-year-old daughter.
Seizure disorders in general, multiple other mental issues, or majority of them are related to acidity. Low pH plays a big role into underlying pathophysiology of a lot of disease. I'm not, so we haven't done obviously clinical trial to see if this is effective against Darvet, but I'm pretty sure with balancing your pH, you're gonna see the benefit. We have a good example. We had patients with, psoriasis, for example, taking the Balance 7 has helped them out so much. Now we haven't done clinical trial because it's a supplement and we have our limitation on what we can claim or what we can say it does or doesn't. But when you change the underlying problem, then obviously you're going to see the changes that comes with it, right? Because the disease process, the drugs are designed to take care of the problem when you have the problem, right? A seizure drugs are given so you don't have seizure, right? You stop the drug, you're gonna have seizure. We're not taking care of underlying problem, right? So for example, if you have high blood pressure and if you're overweight and you take blood pressure medication, it just brings it down. The blood pressure comes down because you're taking medication.
Doesn't solve the problem.
Exactly, but the problem is solved if you lose weight, if you eat right, and if you exercise. You're solving the underlying problem, and that's what the problem is with all the disease, because we're so focused on managing it as opposed to stopping it from happening.
So Lamar, are we gonna see you step back in the ring? Or are you gonna keep on using the Balance 7 to kind of get you back into the ring? Are we gonna see you fight again?
Well, I'm gonna use Balance 7 just to be my best self every day. If it gets me into the ring, then so be it. But yeah, I think I might fight again. Probably fight again.
Wow. Okay, I got to check you out, big fellas. Hey, so what was the team that you liked, Lamar? You know, football, basketball. We all have fans, and we all like different sports. Did you have a favorite team, man? Favorite players? Who was some of those guys?
Oh, my favorite player of all time for me was Magic Johnson. That's who I probably try to idolize my game after. I grew up playing basketball in New York City.
Okay.
Where high school basketball is really progressive and aggressive. It's for real. So,
I think that was an underrated part of your game, Lamar, was the passing ability. You would feed Gasol, Bynum, like you would get these guys. It was cash money when you would have the ball in your hands. I think magic would happen.
Yeah, we shared the ball well. We had a really good team that passed well. We practiced passing. So.
Definitely. But it sounds like Balance 7's really helped both of you guys out so much. It seems like it really is something that you guys can use in your everyday life, especially with Lamar, all those years of playing basketball, Lorenzo, all the hits, all the aggressive way you played. So it definitely sounds like it's helped both of you guys out.
100%.
Lorenzo, I just want to get back to you. After this call, maybe give me a call. I want to talk to you about your daughter a little bit, and also about you. And Lamar, I don't have your number. If that's a possibility, I want to talk to you about helping you out a little more with a couple other stuff. I have a hard time getting a hold of you.
No, I
because I
got
have
you.
a
I'm
package for
making you the number right now, as a matter of fact.
you. Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
and Doc,
we'll
please,
work
and
that.
please get Doc, please get my number too as well, because I'd love to talk to you a little bit about it with the family. And I think this would be great just because there's a lot of people out there, Doc, and I think that suffers from seizure disorders, whether it's Starvettes, whether it's just epilepsy, and there's a lot of things underlying things that are going on. And this is a great alternative because, like you alluded to, a lot of medicine, they just mask the problem, but they don't solve this. It's not the solution. So love to get more involved with you, Doc.
No.
And also, Lorenzo, just off the topic, I've also done research, a lot of research and development with CBD, and that's a perfect little one. So
Okay, so I appreciate the time, Doc. Thank you so much. And Lorenzo,
Yo.
thank you so much. Man, Lorenzo, what an interview. Lamar Odom. We got Lorenzo Neal. We got the Doc. We had everything in there, didn't we? Balance 7, Lorenzo. That's where it's at.
We did. We had a really great show. It's great to have Lamar on and the doctor and just talking about Balance 7 and what it can bring to your body and how people can what it's going to do for the mental clarity and just the physical attributes. So mentally, physically, spiritually, how much Balance 7 is going to help your body because you're going to put it in a great state. I'm telling you, the listeners I know these listeners would absolutely love to find out how they can get some Balance 7, how they can get this amazing product. What kind of offer? Can we give them some type of offer, Fernando? Can we do something for our listeners?
Man, you're a mind reader, Lorenzo. I have a special offer right here in front of me. 32 ounces. It's usually priced at $29.99, but with the code Bleav, they will receive it for $19.99. You can't beat that, Lorenzo. This offer is valid for only 2 weeks, so get on it. 32-ounce option. It's usually priced at $29.99. But right now with the code Bleav, you will receive it for $19.99. What a great offer, Lorenzo.
It's a tremendous offer for $19.99. You got a huge savings. So put in Bleav. Go ahead and get your Balance 7 and see how much it's going to help your body, help your clarity, not just physically, but mentally as well.
Exactly. Next week, folks, we're going to have 2 awesome shows. We're going to break down the defense, and then we're going to have your preview show for the Chargers facing against the Washington football team. It'll be the first game of the season. We're definitely excited about the upcoming season. We're excited about the things that we're going to bring you. For right now, though, enjoy your Labor Day weekend. We were excited to bring this to you. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Lorenzo, tell the folks to have a great weekend, man.
Hey, guys, I want all you guys to have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. Do the right thing. Enjoy your time.